We start the day's other headlines in Canada, where President Trump and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer say they've finalized a trade deal that the two sides provisionally reached last month. Speaking to reporters at the Group of Seven summit this afternoon, the two leaders said the agreement would cut tariffs on goods from both countries, but it does not address steel tariffs, which are still being worked out. Earlier in the day, President Trump began the summit by saying that it was a, quote, big mistake to remove Russia from what had been the Group of Eight. His comments came at the start of what was expected to be a tense gathering of world leaders, which also includes Britain, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, and Japan. Each is dealing with the impact of the president's tariffs. And Canada has had to fend off the president's comments about making the country the 51st state. Speaking alongside Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, Mr. Trump said that Russia's exit following its annexation of Crimea helped lead to the current war in Ukraine.
As if he were a member of what was called the G8 at that time. It was always the G8. You wouldn't have a war right now. He's not a happy person about it, I can tell you that. He basically doesn't even speak to the people that throw him out, and I agree with him.
Trump is due to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky tomorrow. Zelensky is expected to ask Trump about new weapons purchases to help Ukraine's war effort. In the meantime, European nations will try to persuade Trump to slap tougher sanctions on Moscow. In Gaza, health officials say at least 34 Palestinians were killed today in the latest violence near food distribution centers. In the southern city of Khan Yunis, family members and loved ones mourned those lost in the violence. It is the single deadliest day since the aid facilities began operating there 3 weeks ago. So far, hundreds have been killed in near-daily shootings as desperate Palestinians travel through Israeli-controlled areas to reach the centers. Witnesses say the Israeli military opened fire today in an attempt to control the crowds.
We went there thinking we would get aid to feed our children, but it turned out to be a trap, a killing. I advise everyone, don't go there.
The Israeli and U.S.-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation claim no violence has occurred at their sites. The Israeli military has not commented on today's violence, though in previous cases it said troops fired warning shots at people they referred to as suspects. The Supreme Court says it will take up an appeal from a faith-based pregnancy center in New Jersey when it reconvenes for its fall term. First Choice Women's Resource Centers is pushing back on a state investigation into whether it deceived women into believing it offered abortion services. The center wants to block a subpoena for information on donors and medical personnel, claiming it violates the group's freedom of speech. Also today, the court declined to revive a copyright case over Ed Sheeran's song Thinking Out Loud and whether it illegally copied from the Marvin Gaye classic Let's Get It On. A lower court had already found Sheeran not liable in 2023. New Jersey's Supreme Court says the state can let a grand jury look into allegations of clergy abuse. Today's ruling came after the Diocese of Camden agreed last month to drop its long-standing opposition to such a probe. The case originates from a finding in 2018 that more than 1,000 children had been abused in the state of Pennsylvania since the 1940s. That prompted New Jersey to announce an investigation of its own. In a statement, the diocese said, quote, "To the victims and all those impacted by abuse, we reaffirm our sorrow, our support, and our unwavering resolve to do what is right now and always." Flash flooding in West Virginia has now claimed 6 lives. That's according to the state's governor. Rescue crews are still searching for 2 others who remain missing. As many as 4 inches of rain fell in just a half hour in some areas of the state on Saturday night. In the city of Fairmont, the intense rains ripped away the wall of an apartment complex. Residents escaped with their lives, but were unsure of what comes next.
I literally woke up to a catastrophe. I have a baby on the way. I have a toddler. I have no clue what to do now.
Tonight, more than 11 million Americans are under flood watches across large parts of the eastern half of the country. That includes residents of the same parts of West Virginia already hit by flooding. In Paris, there were surprising scenes outside the Louvre this morning after the museum failed to open on time. That left thousands of ticket holders waiting on lines that snaked around the museum's famous glass pyramid. A union official says that staff at the world's most visited museum called a spontaneous work stoppage to protest what it calls untenable working conditions. That includes overcrowding and chronic understaffing. The closure lasted about 4 hours, but it comes amid a broader pushback against over-tourism in Europe. In Barcelona this weekend, firecrackers erupted as protesters vented their anger over the influx of visitors. Activists also used water pistols to target unsuspecting tourists. On Wall Street today, stocks posted solid gains after Friday's sell-off. The Dow Jones Industrial Average added more than 300 points on the day. The Nasdaq jumped nearly 300 points. The S&P 500 also closed higher to start the week. Still to come on the NewsHour, Amy Walter and Leanne Caldwell break down the latest political headlines. And author Colum McCann's latest novel explores isolation in the internet age.
This is the PBS NewsHour from the David M. Rubenstein Studio at WETA in Washington, and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.